And when he went to the location of the Ark itself, what was his initial reactions? Did he ever talk to you about that?
Yeah. He said that when he got there, he was on the side, he was on the road. He had a taxi driver, who was following him. He was walking after a certain point, and the taxi driver was going along with him. He wanted to
Mm,
be able to see.
mm,
And he was probably a half mile above it when he saw it.
mm.
And he didn't even go down and get on it because he saw how massive it was. And he saw that he realized there was nothing he could do. One man who's just a person, just an interested person, all he did was that was the last day. And he looked at it and came home, came back to the hotel.
Right. And when was the, because I know he prayed for an earthquake.
That was after he got home. Yeah.
How long do you remember it being from the time that he prayed for the earthquake to the time it actually happened?
Let's see. He said it was in either late December or early January of 78 or 79
Hmm.
when he saw that. So that was a year and several months after he had been there when it happened.
And once it happened, of course, he probably instantly realized this had to have been me asking of it. So at that point, I think in his mind, he would say, okay, there's something here and I need to take a look at this, right?
Yeah. Yes, he did. He said that he'd just come home from the hospital. He was a CRNA, a certified registered nurse anesthetist, and he put people to sleep for surgery. But he said that when he saw that, how did he say this? It raised the hair on the back of his neck. He said it just, thrilled him. And at that time, he was working full time. So he had to wait until August, however many months that is from January or December,
Mm-hmm.
and plan his trip. And the boys did not go back with him because after they had been attacked on the first trip, he was not about to risk them again. So he went out there. He found someone recommended a pastor, I think he was a pastor in California, who spoke Armenian and understood the local languages, the Kurdish language. So he came with him. And that's when Ron got there and went to the site. He now knew how to get there. Um, he said, I cannot even describe to you what I felt when I saw that it looked like this object had just popped up out of the earth, but it didn't pop up. What happened is the earthquake caused the soil to fall about 20 to 30 feet from
Wow.
around it, and it formed a crack. It's a squiggly crack, but all
Hmm.
the way down the middle. And that was the first time that he got specimens and brought them home.
He had he has the one piece of wood where you can actually see the layers of laminates, right?
Oh, that was much later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did he find the first time?
Well, when he had them tested, and I'm not sure when I'd have to look at the reports. The first ones he had tested, um, he found out that there was organic carbon in them. They looked like petrified wood, but
Mhm.
they were, of course, turned to stone. That's what petrified, mineral replacement, fossilization. Um, and he was excited when they found out that it did contain organic carbon. And that test is very expensive. So the place that he had them tested, Galbraith Labs in Knoxville, Tennessee, they said, well, a cheaper way to do that is test for total carbon, then test for inorganic carbon and subtract. And, the inorganic from the total, and the remaining result is the organic. So he was very excited about that. He also took samples from outside of the site, and those had no organic carbon.
Hmm.
So that showed a difference.
Wasn't some fur or some hair found?
That was much later too. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
What did it turn out to be? Just animal of were they able to determine anything from that sample?
hmm That was a sample that I took on my very first
Oh.
trip out there.
Okay.
And yeah, and that over, later on, Ron had done a core drill into the side of the
Hmm.
ship. And here I am, my first trip out there, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to stick my hand in there and see what I can find." And I
Hmm.
pulled out some material, and it was solidified. It was not a bunch of just loose material. So that was in '88, and we kept it sealed up until 1991. Yeah, 1991, later in the year, and we took it to a lab in Charlotte, North Carolina, a crime lab for their police department, and they had a man there who was supposed to be a very well-known hair and fiber specialist. And I'm trying to think of what all he said. He found, I do remember a couple of the important ones. One was a rodent hair,
Hmm.
and it was very degraded. Then he found a human hair, a
Really?
red, a red human hair that was extremely degraded, but he knew how to read the results. But the one that was, for me, the most exciting was one, and now remember, he pulled these out of this material, out of this matrix himself, so he knew it was not contamination.
Hmm.
So when I tell you about this one, this is really exciting to me. He, on the slide, on the picture, it looked like something that came down like this, and then light was coming out of the end. And he said that's light from the microscope going through this fiber and coming out. He said it's just like a fiber optic.
What?
Yeah, only it was very small, smaller, small as a hair.
But it was made. It wasn't.
He said it's not a natural fiber to the best of his knowledge.
What?
This is the
Okay, I am
thing.
truly shocked.
I know most people expected, all the pictures you see depicting Noah
Yeah,
building a ship. Well, if you want to know what I think and what Ron thought,
I do.
was that they had all the technology in the world back then, probably more than we have today. They were not cavemen. They were not backwoodsmen. Um,
I have believed that myself. You
mhm.
hear stories about Atlantis and all the technology that they may or may not have. I don't know if that's true or not. The Eye of the Sahara, if anybody wants to do research on that, it's very compelling in Africa. But yes, I do believe that before the flood, technology was a lot like it is today. They probably had the ability to fly. They probably had the ability to go into outer space, moon. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But yeah, the technology was probably much more.
Well, if you study history and the archaeological finds, you'll see that the further back you go, the more they were able to do. Like, there's no way today anybody could build a pyramid,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
but they knew exactly how to do it. And the ship, as it turns out, I'm jumping ahead, but uh, we know it's a ship.
Mhm.
And the technology in this ship it looks just like a modern seagoing vessel. It's not a barge.
Right. And they
And
also found titanium, aluminum in there, and all that kind of stuff.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And we didn't know how to alloy titanium and aluminum until the 20th century.
Correct. Yep.
Well, let's face it, right after the flood, when everyone was building the Tower of Babel,
Hmm.
um, I'm sure that this mass of people, they had the knowledge passed down from Noah and his sons. And I'm sure that they weren't running around in bearskin clothes,
Right.
using rocks and all of that, that this was a very sophisticated structure. And that's why God had to destroy it and just and send them off. But as they left, as each group left, uh, they took a little bit of knowledge with them, but
Right.
nobody had all the knowledge. And as time went on, it became lost and more. And then we do find that there was not a whole lot of that men became more primitive. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. We lost the information somewhere along the line, which was probably
Yes,
all by design.
I'm sure. Yeah.